In this video, we're going to study tree diagrams. Tree diagrams are a very good way to represent probabilities when there's more than one event. So 2 events or possibly 3. A biased coin is tossed twice where the probability of heads is 0.7. So you can see here we've got a coin being tossed, but it's tossed twice, so there's 2 events, and that's why we're going to use a tree diagram. Draw a tree diagram to represent this information and find the probability that the coin lands on heads twice, the coin lands on heads and then tails. You might be able to answer those questions without a tree diagram. Maybe you did that in the last exercise. Today's focus is on you being able to draw a diagram because it'll help you with some harder questions down the line. So, how does a tree diagram work? Well, you start off at a point and you think about the first event, which is the first coin toss. And you think to yourself, what can happen? There are 2 outcomes from the first event. You can get heads or you can get tails. So from the starting point, there's 2 branches. One possibility is getting heads. The chances of that is 0.7. Or you could get tails. The chances of that is 0.3. So notice carefully, we've got the outcome goes at the end of the branch, heads or tails. If there were 3 outcomes, it would be 3 branches. And the probability of that branch happening goes on the actual branch itself, it goes on the line. So outcome at the end and the probability on the line. The second thing is the coin is tossed again. So it's the second coin or the second toss. It's the same coin, but it's never worry. So if you get heads on the first toss, what can happen? Say you're here now, you've got heads, you've followed this branch along, you've got heads in the first go. What can happen on the second coin? Well, again, you can get a head on the second coin. Or if you got heads on the first coin, you could get tails on the second coin. So, if we follow the branch, this is getting heads on the first coin, and then this is getting heads on the second coin. This one's getting heads on the first coin, and then tails on the second coin. Same coin, so the chances of getting heads is still 0.7, and we're writing the probabilities on the lines. So, at the minute, we've got 2 possible outcomes. We can get heads and heads. Or if you flip the coin twice, you can get heads and you can get tails. But there's more than 2 things that can happen. You could have got tails on the first coin, so we could follow this branch instead. If you get tails in the first coin, what could you get in the second coin? Well, we still could get a head, 0.7, or we could get a tails, 0.3. So there's actually 4 things that can happen. If we follow the first branch, we can get heads on the first coin and heads on the second coin. So following that path, we get 2 heads. If we follow the path again, go heads, but then on the second coin we get tails, heads, tails is the second possibility. The third possibility is you get tails on the first coin and heads on the third coin. And the fourth possibility is that we get tails on the first coin and tails on the second coin. Now we're ready to answer the questions. The red bit, by the way, is not necessary, just to show you what they mean. So part A is to work out the probability of heads and heads. Well, because they're independent events, what you got in the first coin doesn't affect the second coin. We can multiply the probability of getting heads in the first go with the probability of getting heads on the second go. And if we follow our tree diagram, chances of getting heads 0.7 and chances of getting heads 0.7 again. So we're getting the 0.7s from the diagram, and we can multiply those 2 numbers together to get 0.49. Okay, part B is to get heads and then tails. So probability of heads and then tails. The importance is the order there. So we have to get heads in the first go. So take the heads branch on the tree diagram and then the tails branch. So if we go heads is 0.7 and tails is 0.3. So that's 0.7 times 0.3 and that gives 0.21. Example 2. Bag A has 2 red socks and 1 blue sock. Bag B has 3 red socks and 2 blue socks. A sock is chosen from bag A and bag B. Represent this information on a tree diagram and find the probability of choosing A, 2 red socks and B, 2 blue socks. So let's go back and try to represent this information in a tree diagram. We should start off sort of in the center and we think about what is the first event. The first event is picking a sock from bag A. If you pick a sock from bag A, there are 2 possible outcomes, so 2 branches. You can either get a red sock or you can get a blue sock. If we follow this branch, the probability of getting red is 2 out of 3 socks in total in the first one. So we can write that as a probability, as a fraction, 2/3. And the blue sock, there's 1 blue sock out of 3. So again, you see the outcome at the end of the branch, the probability on the line. And that there represents the first event. After you follow that branch, then you go on to the second event. What can happen after you've got a red in the first or after you've got a blue on the second? Well, after you've done that, you're going to pick a sock out of bag B. So the second event would be bag B. If you get a red sock on the first go, what can you get on the second go? Well, different bags, but you can still get a red or you can get a blue. The chances of getting a red sock on the second bag is 3, and there's 5 socks in that bag, so that would be 3 out of 5. There's 2 blue socks out of 5, so 2/5. So far we've looked at getting a red on the first one and a red on the second one. So that's red and then red. This one is getting a red and then a blue. So a red sock followed by a blue sock. So what if we get a blue sock? What can happen there? On the first go we get blue, but on the second go we're free to get a red or a blue again. Chances of getting red is 3 out of 5 and blue 2 out of 5. Remember, this is representing the second bag, so looking at these probabilities. So we can get a blue sock if we follow this branch here, and then a red sock out of the second bag. And then if we finish that off, we've got a blue one and then another blue one. So 2 blue socks is that final branch. So there's 4 things can happen. You get red, 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 blue, blue, red, blue, blue. Now I need to work out the probability of 2 red socks. So probability of red and red. That's going to be the probability of getting red in the first go multiplied by probability of red in the second go. Remember, when you've got 2 events that are independent, you can multiply the probabilities. So that's 2/3 multiplied by 3/5. If we follow 2/3 and 3/5 for red and red. We can simplify that. It works quite nicely because when you multiply fractions, you multiply numerators and denominators, but you can also cancel down factors, common factors on numerators and the denominators. So we'd end up with on the top 2 times 1, which is 2, and 1 times 5, which is 5. Okay, that's for chances of getting red and red. What about getting a blue and blue? That's the probability of getting blue multiplied by the probability of getting blue. This one being on the first go and this one being on the second go. Bag A and bag B. So chances of getting blue on the first bag is 1/3. And blue on the second bag is this one here, 2/5. And if we multiply our numerators together, we get 2, and denominators we get 15. Now, can I emphasize today, yes, I want you to get the right answers, but really the focus is being able to draw a diagram and being able to set your work out identically to what I've done, not just having answers at the end. It's all about the layout of the stage to help you with harder questions in the future. Lauren has 2 bags. The first bag contains 3 red counters and 2 blue counters. The second bag contains 2 red counters and 5 blue counters. So Lauren takes 1 counter at random from each bag. Complete the probability tree diagram. So the first set of branches have red and blue on them. That represents the counter from the first bag. So 3 out of 5 are red, which means 2 out of 5 are blue. If you get red in the first bag, you can get red on the second bag. Chances of that are 2 out of 7. There's 2 red out of 7 counters in the second bag. Chances of getting blue on the second bag is 5 out of 7. And then this branch is if you get blue in the first one, but this is still the second bag. Chances of getting red in the second bag is 2 out of 7, and getting blue in the second bag is 5 out of 7. Part A. Find the probability that 2 reds are chosen. So we want the probability of red and red. So that's red on the first go, and then red on the second go. Independent events, so we can multiply the probabilities. If we follow the tree diagram, red on the first go is 3/5, red on the second go is 2/7. So it's 3/5 times 2/7. Multiply the numerators and the denominators, and we get 6/35. Part B. Find the probability that a blue is chosen and then a red. So we have to get blue first, and then we get a red second. So probability of blue and red. That's probability of getting blue first, as I said, and then red second. So we get 2/5, and we multiply that by 5. Sorry, I've lost my place. 2/5 and times 2/7. And that gives the answer 4/35. Romello picks a shirt and shorts. The probability he picks a red shirt is 0.4. The probability he picks white shorts is 0.7. Copy and complete the tree diagram. So you start off here. Chances of getting if I'm picking a red shirt is 0.4. The probability goes on the line. And that means there's 2 branches, so either it gets a red one or not a red one. So not red would be what's remaining from the total probability of 1. So 0.4, take away that from 1 and you get 0.6. Now here's the shorts. The chances of getting white shorts is 0.7. So not white would be 1 minus 0.7, which is 0.3. Down here it's a lot of blanks, so what should be here? Well, this is the shorts column. So either you can get white or you can get not white. W would be fine. A quick way of writing not W or not white is put a line on top of it, which is acceptable. I'm sure you'll like to write in a quicker way. You could also, by the way, there's lots of ways. You can also put a wee dash to mean W prime or not W. Anyway, what's the chance of getting white? The probability goes on the line. It's 0.7 and then 0.3. And then we're ready to answer the questions. Part A, what's the probability that he picks a red shirt and white shorts? probability of red and white is the probability he gets red in the first go multiplied by the probability he gets white on the second go. Chances of getting red, 0.4. Chances of getting white, 0.7. So I've followed the red, 0.4, and then the white, 0.7. Those two gets you red and white. If you multiply those, you get 0.28. Part B then is the probability he picks neither a red shirt or white socks. So for that one, it's a probability of not red, so we can put a line over it for not red, and not white. So we'll follow the not red branch, and then the not white branch. Remember, see, I used the word and there, and that's when we, for the and statement, we multiply the probabilities because they both have to happen. So, not red, 0.6, not white, 0.3. 0.6 times 0.3 equals 0.18. Final question. The probability that John wins a game of tennis is 0.6. John plays 2 games of tennis. Represent this information in a tree diagram, and then we'll answer the questions after that. So, there are 2 events, there are 2 games. So, we'll have a first game, and we'll have a second game. So, on the first game, what can he do? He can win it, or he doesn't when he loses. And what's the chances of him winning the first game? Well, 0.6, and that means 0.4 is the chances of him losing. If he wins the first game, he can go on and play a second game, and he can win it, or he could lose it. Chances of winning, 0.6. Chances of losing, 0.4. If he loses the first game, he can still go on ahead and win the second game, or he could lose the second game. Again, winning 0.6, losing 0.4. Part A. Represent the information in a tree diagram. Find the probability that John wins both games. So we're looking for probability of winning and winning again. So it's the chances he wins in the first go multiplied by the chances of winning on the second go. Now you'll get harder questions where those probabilities could be different, but here it's the same each time. So it's 0.6 times 0.6, which is 0.36. And part B is the probability of him losing the first game and winning the second game. So L and W. So probability of losing, that would be multiplied by the probability of winning. 0.4 multiplied by 0.6, and that gives 0.24.